Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. It is Thanksgiving. We got 3 football games, and we are fired up, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man, the people in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
I'm doing good, really good. Got a nice little dry run of Thanksgiving. Hosted a Friendsgiving on Sunday, so I already got my palate wet with the food that's coming. Got some practice making the main dishes for the next coming days, and I'm just excited. You know, family's flying into town, get everybody to gather around. We're gonna be hosting Thanksgiving at our place, me and my girl for the first time, so that'll be fun. And yeah, overall, just excited to eat, watch some football. Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this is the best week of sports, I think, of the entire year. By far. We have NFL. We have rivalry week in college football, which this season is fire. We have college basketball tournaments that start at like 11 a.m. every day, and they play till midnight. And then we also have the NBA. We have the NHL if we want it. And, of course, we got Black Friday football now, too, even. We got it all. It's great.
I will say I'm not a fan of the Friday game.
Why?
I just don't want to get oversaturated. I want to stay in contact with the Thursday, Sunday, Monday.
Well, I don't mind it if there was no college football games, but college football games start at noon on Friday, and you have big ones like Texas A&M, Texas. So I don't really – it's not that I don't care about the Friday game. I would have rather personally had the Bears play the Eagles on Thanksgiving night and then move the Bengals and the Ravens to Friday. That's just my take. But also Friday 3 o'clock is a weird time too for a game. And I get they don't want to compete with college, but it's a weird time.
Well, I mean, Georgia's at 3:30 on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, but nobody really cares about that, honestly. Georgia Tech's just
they went to 8 overtimes last year.
That was a great game. That was one of the best football games I watched last year. But that was because Carson Beck's a dog. You're not going to get that this year. Like last year, for example, Haynes King was playing at an elite level. Georgia Tech was good. This year, Georgia Tech just survives in the fourth quarter. They didn't last week. Nobody cares about that game. Everybody cares about one game on the schedule, and it's Texas A&M versus Texas on Friday.
Oh, for sure. But that's at noon, right?
No, that's a 7 o'clock, I think.
Oh, that's the night game. Oh, okay.
A lot of good games. Pumped for that Friday college football schedule. But on this show, Grant, we talk about the NFL, and we got 3 Thanksgiving games to break down, and I can't wait.
I can't either. And that's why Tanner and I are going to be bringing all of you our best picks for that game or those games. That includes the major markets, the player props, all that great stuff. Before we jump into that, though, we do got to tell you about WSN.com, which is a place where Tanner, myself, and a team of experts, we post our best betting picks every single day. We also have promo codes for all the sports books that gets you up to thousands of dollars in prizes. Just go on over to WSN.com, check out the promo code deals, and also check out our picks while you are over there.
Yeah, definitely check all that stuff out, guys, and subscribe to the show. We are here every Tuesday and Friday. We're posting clips throughout the week, so make sure you guys lock in. We're giving you the betting picks you need to know. We're having the important conversations you need to know in the sports world, and that is a reason to subscribe to the channel. But anyways, Grant, before we get into these 3 games, I just want to have a quick discussion on your favorite Thanksgiving foods because this tells a lot about a person. So why don't you give 3 dishes you can't live without on Thanksgiving, including a dessert, and then I'll do the same.
Okay. Well, actually, let me add a question to this mix as well. We have to pick ham or turkey. For me, ham. Easy answer.
So I don't eat ham like at my Thanksgiving, but I do like ham more than turkey. I think turkey sucks.
Turkey does. It's the worst meat. It's just dry.
I was scrolling TikTok last night. I don't know who the video was, but he made like a Cajun turkey and he just injected like gallons of butter into it and it came out super moist. So like maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not a super big turkey guy.
Okay, so my top 3, taking the main course out of it, like sides and stuff like that. My top 3, I'm going to go sweet potato casserole. Don't know if you guys eat that, but we have a family recipe in mind. And it's better than anything I've had anywhere else. I know some people say they don't like sweet potato casserole, but this stuff is delicious. It's like dessert. This is an underrated one, but I'm just going to say some really good rolls. You get some hot bread rolls, good butter. That really brings it all together. And then I do really like green bean casserole, stuff like that. I like stuffing. I like mac and cheese. I like all of that. What do I go with number 3? I'll go mac and cheese. Get a little burnt on the top, nice and brown. Yeah, I'll say mac and cheese.
So I'm going to go with sweet potato casserole, something like that. There's different ways to make it, obviously, but anything with marshmallows and sweet potatoes is good for me. Then I would say mashed potatoes, probably number 2. And then number 3, I would go with, well, we had to say dessert. You skipped out on dessert. So I'll say dessert. I do like a good pecan pie. I'm a big pecan pie guy.
Okay, so we don't eat that. We tried something new with my family last year. First time we did it, we tried pumpkin cheesecake, and it was pretty delicious. So that might sneak into my dessert spot.
All right. Well, guys, let us know what you like for Thanksgiving foods in the comments. There's some weird ones out there. Luckily, me and Grant aren't too weird. So make sure you guys drop what you like to eat in the comments. And let's get into these games. Grant, take us away.
Well, it's Thanksgiving. So your mom, your grandma, your aunt, they're going to be talking about, oh, what a beautiful time. The family's together. Everybody get up and let's take pictures. The men, we're out in the living room watching football. We got the first stomach filled. We're trying to open up the second stomach while we sit down. We watch some football, and we're starting off with the NFC North battle. Neither one of these teams are leading the division, which is crazy. You never would have thought that it would be the Chicago Bears in first. But we have the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions scrapping to see if they can challenge the Bears to win the division. I think ultimately one of them will, but they kick the day off at 1 o'clock. We got Jordan Love, who all of a sudden is incapable of throwing for 200 yards in a game, and this Packers team that dominates advanced metrics, yet when you watch them, it looks like they're terrible, kind of the Eagles effect. And then on the flip side, you got the Lions, who Dan Campbell's streak of covering after a loss was broken last week, barely got to overtime against the Giants where they scraped a win. That's after they had lost at home to the Eagles. Actually, it was on the road and still lost to the Eagles. Lions really trying to figure out some consistency. You look at their recent games, it's loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. So that's the stage heading into Thanksgiving and starting off with a good one at 1 o'clock.
So this isn't really a hot take. One of these teams, the winner of this game, will be in first place at the end, or tied for first place in the NFC North at the end of the day, or at the end of the week, I should say, because Friday the Eagles are going to play the Bears. The Eagles are going to absolutely steamroll the Bears. We know that's going to come. So the winner of this game puts themselves in a really good spot in the NFC North. Personally, for me, we talked about before the show, I was surprised to hear that me and Grant were on the same side here, but I will be taking the Detroit Lions -2.5. This is like the, I wouldn't want to call it, there's no obviously guarantees in betting, but I'm very, very confident in the Detroit Lions in the sense of the worst thing that could have happened to the Green Bay Packers was the opening week of the season when they blow the Detroit Lions off the field. But there were a couple differences in that game. The Lions, number one, just weren't ready to play. Number two, the pass rush for the Green Bay Packers was so good, and that's because it was just new and they were excited, and now everyone was getting after the quarterback. That slowed down a little bit. You got Mr. Jared Goff playing outside. He doesn't play as well outside. So now you're in a spot where this is back home. The Lions are coming off a win, but not a good win. And you have a Green Bay Packers team that has seemed to hit a little bit of a wall, especially when it comes to Jordan Love in the offense. And we know the Detroit Lions are going to score. Even going back to that week 1 game, as great as Green Bay played, if the Lions convert a couple of fourth downs, if they score early in a spot or they don't get stopped inside the 50 multiple times from what I remember from that game, they were in it. I think they're going to dominate this one at home.
So I am going to be taking the Packers at +3. It's still possible the Lions win this game because I do think it's going to be pretty close, and that could work in either direction. It could be 14-13. It could be 35-38. I think it'd be close whether it's high scoring or low scoring. The thing with the Lions that gets me is you look at their recent results, and there just hasn't been any consistency. And granted, there hasn't been with the Packers either. They lost at home as 13-point favorites against the Panthers. And then they lose again. They lose to the Eagles. Then they win 2 straight games. With the Lions, like I said, it's loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. And if you actually want to break those down, they blow out the Bengals. We were expecting them to go on the road and beat the Chiefs. They're not even close. Then they dominate the Buccaneers, lose to the Vikings, and I can't remember if that was 9, if that was McCarthy or Wentz, whoever it was. Then they obliterate the Commanders, score 9 points against the Eagles, and then they struggle to get to overtime against the Giants. Again, it's just been so up, so down. There's been no real, You don't know what the middle line is. So yeah, we can talk about Jordan Love and how he's very overvalued, but we're also looking at Jared Goff like he wasn't just 14 of 37 passing. I think these are physical teams who know each other very well. In some ways, they can get to a lot of the same looks. They can try to play the same sort of style, but they're both wildly inconsistent at this point. And because of that, I think this is truly a 50-50 game, and I would be taking the underdog regardless of who it was. If you're giving me points, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I think the lines are much better, though, realistically, because I can go through and debate all the points that you just made in the sense of, like, the Giants game doesn't count because the defense got beat with 2 fake touchdowns, like trick plays, and Jameis Winston also is Jameis Winston. So, like, you're like, that one does not count. The Philly game doesn't count because they played outdoors in the cold, and we know Jared Goff can't play outdoors in the cold. Blew out Washington. Minnesota doesn't count because they played against 9. And when 9 comes out, he's just a
9 is the worst quarterback in the NFL.
But 9 actually was like okay this game. Like 9, he 14, 25, 143, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. But 9 came out. That's the difference. He's got a concussion too, so rest in peace to 9.
I think that's a soft benching, by the way. I think he's fine.
Kevin O'Connell's like, yeah, he got a concussion on the plane coming home, started experiencing some symptoms. Did you hear that press conference?
I didn't.
He's like, yeah, we were flying home and he got a little sick on the plane and started experiencing some concussion symptoms. So we're going to sit him out. Who they got this week?
It's a good question. I don't actually know. They have the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's probably why.
That's a loss.
Getting back against the Commanders on December 7th. So yeah, that one doesn't count. They beat the Bucks. Chiefs really doesn't count because you're at the Chiefs in a spot where they need to win.
You can't just disregard all of their bad performances.
And then they went 4-1 and they had lost that Green Bay game, and that one doesn't count because it was outside. Like you can only count it for the Lions when they're at home. Last week they played against Jameis Winston in a bunch of trick plays, and that doesn't count because like the Packers aren't going to be running double reverse pitch passes to their quarterback Jordan Love. Like it's just not going to happen.
Well, maybe they should.
Maybe they should, but they're not. So like it doesn't count. So like realistically, the Lions are like a 1-loss football team.
That's amazing math. That's what I'm gonna say. You just gerrymandered the Lions schedule.
No, I mean they're at home on Thanksgiving against a team that smacked them before. Like this is division opponent that smacked them. Now they're playing on turf. The Green Bay Packers pass rush, everyone doesn't care about it anymore. Like
Micah has 3.5 sacks the last 2 weeks. Micah took over last weekend.
Micah's low-key so inconsistent, though. Like, I know Myles Garrett's going to show up every week. I don't know if Micah Parsons is going to show up every week.
I think the difference is Myles Garrett, is going to be an outstanding run defender as well.
Yeah, Micah only comes in big spots. He's really not on the field that much.
Yeah, it's like, if a team is consistently dominating with the run, Micah's not going to stop it. Myles Garrett can stop it.
There's games too, though, where you're not even going to mention Micah Parsons' name. Like there's no games really where you're not going to bring on Myles Garrett.
There was, let me see. So Micah, I said he had 3.5 sacks the last 2 weeks. He didn't have sacks in the 2 weeks before that, and both of those were losses. So
there you go. And then
the Packers have 3 losses this season. Micah did not get a sack in any of them. And then he has a sack in every other game except for 1.
If you contain the pass rush, which I don't know if they can, but I'll tell you what, the Packers pass rush and defense is not like the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a different level. If you can contain that, you set Jared Goff up to be very successful indoors. That's what I'll say.
Well, let's talk about the player props here. And I'll start it off with the quarterback since we are talking about them. I'll start it off with Jordan Love. I'm going to take him under 20.5 completions. And I don't know why. I've just been attracted to this market lately. Rushing attempts, completions, longest pass. I just found a lot of success with that recently. So for whatever reason, it's working for me, and I'm going to stick with it. You look at his recent games, 14 of 21 against the Vikings, 13 of 24 against the Giants. Even against the Eagles, where I don't want to say they were chasing because it was only 10-7, but like they were trying to win. He's still only 20 of 36, so he would have gone over. 2 weeks before that, he does go over, but then it's 5 of 6 before that, he goes under this line. I think what you are looking for here is for the Packers to have some defensive success. for the Lions to be able to stay committed to the ground game, because if Jared Goff's thrown the ball 45 times, Jordan Love's also going to throw it probably 40 to 45 times, and he'd go over this line. But if it just kind of just plays out at that middle ground level where it's both teams trying to run the ball, impose their physical will, teams getting third down stops, stuff like that, the Packers have shown they do not want to air it out all that much with Love, and he's gone under pretty consistently. So I'll take the under.
You know why they don't want to air it out with him?
Well, I do know why, and it's funny because I actually feel like in some of these games they would have been better served trying to like pedal to the metal. I feel like that they could have looked better if they had just been more aggressive.
He's so bad. Like, you waited multiple years to make this man your franchise quarterback, and that was probably the right move, because I couldn't imagine what he'd look like as a rookie, because he's not good. He's terrible.
Well, you know what's funny, and this is how I kind of opened with this, with just talking about this matchup. The advanced metrics love Jordan Love. He's third in the NFL in EPA per play among quarterbacks. Only Drake May and Sam Darnold are above him.
They don't ask him to do a lot, though. Like, he's efficient because they don't put him in situations where he can really mess up, but those are the situations that you need. Like, for example, if you had him playing for the Chiefs on Sunday and you needed him to be Patrick Mahomes and make throws down the stretch, he can't do that. It's not capable.
By the way, I lied. He's actually first in the NFL in EPA per play.
Doesn't surprise me, though. It's dink and dunk. That's all it is.
It's so funny because his average like yards per attempt and stuff like that, and average air yards is really high, because it's either going 40 yards or it's going 4. He doesn't like, there's not a lot of intermediate stuff.
It's quick out, quick slant, or like a deep pass. And he does throw a pretty deep ball. It just floats up there half the time. It looked like what was last night? It was who played last night again?
The Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, the picks he was throwing, it was just floating it. That's what Jordan Love's balls look like, just floats it.
Listen, San Francisco, they got a quarterback controversy. Mac Jones is better than Brock Purdy.
McIntyre was slugging a McDonald's shake on the sideline.
All right, what you got for your first player prop here?
I am going to go to keep it simple. We're not going to overcomplicate it. Jahmyr Gibbs over 101.5 rushing plus receiving yards. I feel like this is the best mark. This is the new Christian McCaffrey combined yards, even though Christian McCaffrey literally pops off every week and gets every single carry. Like, they don't even consider Brian Robinson a running back there. So in the same thing here, like, Dave Montgomery is fading quick. Like, his usage is just going down. I think we're getting to that point in the season where you can afford to beat your guys up a little bit. So obviously we're going to get more carries with Gibbs. The Lions are in the middle of a playoff race. This is a critical matchup. Like, if you lose this game, you're not winning the division. So you need to get this one done. Jahmyr Gibbs had 219 rushing last week, 45 receiving. The week before that, 39 rushing, 107 receiving. Week before that, 142 rushing, 30 receiving. So he's gone over this in 4 of his past 5 games. He's been pushing 200 in a lot of games. Obviously went over 200 last week against the Green Bay Packers. They did a great job against him. 9 carries, 19 yards, 2.1 average carry, 10 receptions, 31 yards. So he only had 60 there. But the bottom line is that was early in the season. His carries were only 9. Now he's getting 15. He's getting double-digit carries. Reception-wise, 10 receptions is a ton, obviously. Green Bay did a really nice job against him, but I don't think they're going to be as successful here because of how he's been lately.
I played against Jahmyr Gibbs in my Dynasty League, and it's fine because I'm tanking, so I actually wanted to lose. But using half PPR, he got 49.9 points. So using full PPR, I think he would have been at like, 55? Yeah. Something like that for what he did last week. So, yeah, I got nothing to say about this. The Dave Montgomery point's a very good one. While you were talking, I just went ahead and I looked at his rushing line. It's 39.5, which is not that much, but his usage has also been relatively low recently, and it's going down. So, honestly, betting the under on that line, I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
And I mean, well, I will say this too, like, this could be a David Montgomery week a little bit, but I just don't, even if it is, I don't think it's going to take away from Jahmyr Gibbs that much. And the reason I say that is because you got a really physical Green Bay front. and you need to pound the rock a little bit more. And, it's a short week, and Montgomery was literally the entire offense. Like, this could be, or not Montgomery, Gibbs was literally the entire offense last week. So this could be a spot where Montgomery shines a little bit. I just don't see it taking away from Gibbs that much.
I'll give you my other player prop. I got Amon-Ra St. Brown anytime touchdown score. You look at the odds of some of these guys, like Gibbs is at minus 190, which, by the way, that's not low enough. He should be like minus 300. You got Josh Jacobs at minus 145. Emmanuel Wilson also at minus 145. You're getting Amon-Ra for basically 1-to-1 even money here. You look at his recent volume, his highest workload, highest usage games have been within the last month. His most recent game, 9 catches for 149 yards and a touchdown. He had 13 targets. That tied a season high. The week before that, 12 targets, second most this season. The week before that, it was 8, but it was a blowout against the Commanders. They weren't throwing the ball in the fourth quarter. And the week before that was 13 targets, again, also tying a season high. So look at the last 4 weeks, season high in targets twice, second most targets of the season. He's scored 1 touchdown in 3 of his last 6 games. He's got 9 touchdowns on the year. Again, this could be a high scoring game. No guarantee that it is, but it could be. And considering he's coming off of clearly his best game of the season, his volume is trending up. And also he's just like, other than Gibbs, he's their biggest touchdown threat. He's their number 1 receiver. I think there's a lot of value here.
So I like that play. I think it's good value. Obviously, Amon-Ra is a stud. I'm also going to be taking a receiving prop for my final prop, and that is going to be back with Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs over 4.5 receptions in this game for plus 122 right now. This is kind of a little bit of a hedge, but also a spot where I think you can hit both here. If you go back to the first game, obviously the Green Bay Packers shut down the run. Jahmyr Gibbs did not get anything going on the ground. They had to throw the ball to him. He had 10 receptions in that football game. He didn't get many yards, but he still had 10 receptions. So I'm thinking here, if Green Bay is able to limit the run game, because I do think they're going to have success there slightly, I still think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get his yards and get his big carries to get over 100. He's going to be a huge weapon out of the backfield because they need to get him in space. And the way to do that, obviously, is through catching the football, quick screens, swing passes, all that stuff. So I think over 4.5 receptions, good play here. 11 last week, 5 the week before. Then he was stuck at 3, 1, and 2. But in those games, the run game really was working. So pending the run game does not necessarily work here, I think you can hit the receptions. If the run game does work, I still think you have a really good chance of hitting the receptions.
We good on this one?
Yes, we are.
Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, America's team versus America's team of the last 7 to 10 years or so, America's most recent dominant dynasty. Big one for both teams because both teams managed to avoid losing records by having comeback victories against, now that I think about it, against the favorites in their conference. The Colts were, actually they might have been second, but they were like one of the top teams to win the AFC. Eagles, one of the top teams to win the NFC. The Cowboys and the Chiefs both come back, save their seasons, save their playoff hopes. Now it's a short week, getting back after it on Thanksgiving here. You got the Cowboys at home as 3-point underdogs. Tanner, how we see this one playing out?
So this is an interesting game, and I will say the NFL did an awesome job with the scheduling. Like to start with Packers-Lions in the situation we're in the NFC North right now, then to roll right into Chiefs-Cowboys, a spot where the Cowboys were expected to be better, but this is also a really big game because the Cowboys, they're probably eliminated from the playoffs. Like most likely they're not getting in, mathematically still alive, but the Chiefs need to win this football game. And you're getting a spot where Dallas is playing well, coming off a 21-point comeback. Like this is what we want to watch here. So, again, we talked before the show. We're on different sides in this one. I do think it's going to be close, but knowing how the NFL operates, 3 points is a good deal. And I do trust the Chiefs to win by more than 3 points in more situations. If I simulated this game in my head, than I do the Cowboys to be within 3 points. This could be a 4-point win for the Chiefs. This could be a 7-point win. I do think it's going to be close throughout the entire game. But when it comes down to it, you got Dallas riding high off of last week's win. You got the Chiefs riding high off of last week's win. I think the Chiefs are just so locked in right now. Like there was never a moment last week in that Broncos game, in the Colts Colts game where I did not think that the Chiefs were going to win it. They were going to find a way. It felt like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, the close win Chiefs were back. I think if we get that in this game, they're also going to win it. You got to shut down CeeDee Lamb. You got to shut down George Pickens. It's not going to be easy. You also got to score. And I think, I don't know why last week the Eagles couldn't score. Like, they just don't have the passing game to do it. They don't have the team right now to do it. The Chiefs do. Rashee Rice can light up this Cowboys defense. So I think the spot where we could see a high scoring game, could see the over hit. But in more scenarios, I trust Patrick Mahomes and this team to get it right in this spot. And I do the Dallas Cowboys to be within 3.
Yeah, I want to echo you that I have more trust in the Chiefs. And I said this about the Cowboys-Eagles game. I took the Cowboys at plus 3.5. I said the way this season has been going, the Cowboys will cover and the Eagles will win. Obviously, that's not what happened, but that's how I feel about this game, where I think the Cowboys could cover plus 3 and the Chiefs could win. I think they could win by 1 or 2 points because they've grown so accustomed and so comfortable to doing that. The reason that I'm not laying the points with the Chiefs here is they don't. At no point this year have they given me an inclination that they're going to blow a team out. And it's funny because maybe the closest they got to it might have been when they played the Lions, who are a good team, and they beat them 30-17. The Lions were never really competitive in that game. Maybe you could go back to the Ravens game as well. And I know they did blow out the Raiders, but I'm not talking about bad teams. They blew out the Commanders. I'm talking about legitimately competitive teams. And that's what the Cowboys are right now. With Dak playing at an MVP level, with the defensive upgrades, that's not going to help the secondary. And I do think Mahomes is going to have a big day. But Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson are really going to help your running game. The Chiefs might have the worst running game in the NFL as it is. So that means literally all of the pressure is on Mahomes. And you saw that last week. He threw 46 passes. The week before that, he threw 45 passes. The Cowboys are walking into this game knowing exactly what the Chiefs want to do. The difference is the Cowboys are more unpredictable because they have a more diversity of talent on their offense. Dak's playing just as well as Mahomes is. And the Cowboys have significantly better players on the outside. You said that you need the defense to step up for the Chiefs. They have like a bottom 10 defense in the NFL over the last 6 weeks or so. And I don't even know if there's defense in the NFL that can cope with what CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are doing at this moment in time. So for all those reasons, I think Dallas will be competitive. I'm not going to say they win, but I would take them with the plus 3.
So while the Chiefs defense isn't the best or has not been the best, they still, against the Colts, stepped up when they needed to. I think this is that kind of game where they step up when they need to. And again, if the Chiefs are going to win, here's the thing with the 3-point spread. If you think the Chiefs are going to win, like, you're pushing no matter what if it's a field goal on either side of the line. So like, I'm just more comfortable taking the 3, playing the 3.
I can understand that line of logic.
Yeah. So I like the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are a better team here, Grant. This is where this is where Patrick Mahomes goes on his run. I don't know if you felt this way. I don't know if you felt this way last week, but it never felt like the Colts were going to win the football game. It never felt like that to me. It always felt like Mahomes' magic was going to come alive at some point in that game.
Okay. I thought that they were going to win, and they did, but it took them coming back multiple scores in overtime, and they did not cover.
But the defense they won by 3. Like, it was a 3-point win.
It was a 3.5 point line, though.
I know, but it was a 3-point win. Like, exactly what we're going to probably get here.
So it would be a push.
It would be a push on either side. But I'm just saying, as far as winning the game goes, when you look at the defense last week, they were in some tough situations late in that game. They had the Colts had the ball at the 45 going in, the 50 going in multiple times last week late in the game. And the Chiefs defense stepped up. I think that's what we get here, but I think there's just more routes for the Chiefs to win. So lay the 3, people. Lay the 3.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's going to be a sad holiday. Your uncle's going to hate you.
You're playing for a push if you just take the 3. You're playing for a push.
Let's get the player props here because I really like this. I'm going to go with a double over on the quarterbacks. I'll start with Dak here. Coming off 354 against an Eagles defense that had been suffocating everybody. 9.8 yards per attempt. That was his highest of the season. Had 268 against the Raiders just before that. 2 disappointing games against the Cardinals. Maybe not disappointing against the Cardinals. The result was disappointing. Dak was actually just straight up bad against the Broncos. But he's been pretty dominant overall. Him and Mahomes basically have the same number of passing yards. They are second and third in the NFL this season. They're averaging Dak's at 267 a game. Mahomes is at 270 a game. On the other side, looking at Mahomes' numbers, 352 last week, 276 before that. He's gone over in 4 of his last 5. Like I said, he's averaging more than this line. And the Cowboys are 31st in passing yards allowed per game and yards allowed per attempt. The Chiefs are 21st in yards allowed per attempt. These numbers, by the way, because I said I was taking the double over, you can get it as low as Dak at 245.5, Mahomes at 265.5.
Yeah, I like both those. I had honestly both those on my card. I was going to talk more about Patrick Mahomes, but I will take both there. I will go with a little variation of that. I think when you go for the most passing yards market, there's some pretty good value when it comes to Dak Prescott at plus 124 over Patrick Mahomes. I think if any team has the idea of slowing the game down and trying to keep the other team off the field, that you would think it would be the Cowboys, but I lean towards it being the Chiefs a little bit more. I do think they're going to try to get the run game going. They did run the ball in big situations last week. They did have a little success on the ground with some chunk runs. I think this is a spot where, as good as Dallas is up front now with the additions that they've made, they're still going to try to run the ball and keep the Cowboys off the field. And also, if the game plays out, and more times than not, if you simulate this game, I personally feel like it's the Cowboys playing catch up. This is the kind of game where I think the Chiefs are going to be able to stay in front a little bit because they're slightly better on defense, in my opinion, and they have Patrick Mahomes. So I'll take Dak Prescott to go most passing yards for plus 124.
Yeah, I like the player props more than the finals, the major market spread money line stuff. I like the props more in this game. I talked about the quarterbacks. I'll give you another one. And I've said this, I don't know how many weeks now. We're going on like a month straight of me saying Kareem Hunt anytime touchdown scorer. I'm sure you know that. You've heard me say it a bunch. You're getting it for like plus 175 in this game. And let's just think about this. He's scored in all of his last 4 games. He has 8 touchdowns on the year. He is the lead back. He gets all of the goal line work, and he's going against a defense that gives up the second most points per game in the entire NFL. If the Chiefs are anywhere inside of the 10-yard line, Kareem Hunt is getting the football. He's getting at least one crack at it. He's also a receiving threat out of the backfield. And again, he hasn't split with anybody. When they get near the goal line, it's Kareem Hunt that's on the field. He's been scoring consistently. The Cowboys give up a ton of points. We both like Mahomes to get over 270 passing yards, which means he's getting close to 300, which means the Chiefs are moving the football. There's so much value here at plus 175.
So I would say if you're looking at a touchdown score, so I was going to bring up touchdown scores next, and I agree with you on Kareem Hunt, but I'm just going to list off a few that I like for my final player props here. I like Rashee Rice, obviously, minus 135. Got to get him involved. Obviously, you don't necessarily want to play minus 135 touchdown score, but I like Rashee Rice for that number. You could also live bet him, too. You'll get him for plus money after one drive if he doesn't score right away. So that's another plan of attack there. I think CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, one of those guys is going to score. You bet them both for plus money, you're in a decent spot there. So I think one of those two will score. I think both could score very easily. And then a sneaky one that I like here, Patrick Mahomes, anytime touchdown plus 480. Patrick Mahomes is laying his body on the line for this team right now. He is running the ball around the goal line. He is taking off. They run a lot of play action with him around the goal line, get him in space. So he has the option to run. And for plus 480, not a bad bet. So I think those are 4 of my favorite touchdowns. You get a couple, not a couple short ones, but then obviously the long one with Mahomes there. And also, too, you want to have a little fun here. 10-1 parlay. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Rashee Rice parlay. 10-1.
I like all of those. If you can hedge them correctly, there's a really good way to approach this game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you just bet CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens straight and say you put let's do the math here. So if you put let's see, 10. So if you're gonna make like $5 or $3 on if you put 10 on each. So I mean, the more you bet, obviously, the more money you have the opportunity to make there. But one of those guys I think is going to score. If neither of those guys scores, the Chiefs are going to blow them off the field.
Let's go to the last game of the day, closing out Thanksgiving. Big one to close out the night. Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow's return. He posted the famous picture of him flexing with the LeBron jersey on, saying he's back. Looks like Joe Burrow will be back on the field for an AFC North battle with the Baltimore Ravens. I need to check the weather report because it can get cold at night in Baltimore around this time of the year. If it is, we could be looking at a classic 17-10 AFC North slugfest. But then again, that also depends on the Bengals defense actually being a little competent, which they were in the first half against the Patriots last week. Spit the bit ultimately. You got the Ravens favored by 7 points at home in this one. Where are you going with this game?
So I want to take the Bengals. I really do. I think for 7, it's a good deal. And I would probably lean that way. But I tend to think the Ravens are going to pull this out. I don't think week 1, Joe Burrow being back is going to create some magic here. I think offensively they're going to be able to score, but I think the Ravens are going to be able to do the same thing to the Bengals scoring wise. This is just one where I got to go with the team with more talent, the team that's playing better right now. And while the Bengals did put up a nice fight against the Patriots, Ravens are on a different level. I will take the Ravens. And I think the Ravens right now, as bad as they looked last week against the Jets, they're probably the front runner to win the AFC in my mind. Plus 550 right now. Patriots plus 500. Colts plus 480. Patriots not winning the AFC. So I think the Ravens, I would give them the edge there in the AFC right now.
This is probably the toughest game to call all week for me personally, as far as a spread pick, because I'm not looking at this like I want Joe Burrow to create magic for the Bengals. I honestly don't even care about the Bengals part of it. I care about the Ravens, because if we look at their last run of results, let's go back a month. So they blow out the Dolphins. The Dolphins shot themselves in the foot, did everything they could to lose that game. The Vikings, they played 9 on the road, and they really don't look that good. They end up covering the spread, but they don't look great. Against the Browns, same thing, don't look good. And then against the Jets, you watch that. You look at the final score. If you didn't watch it, it paints a completely different picture than what happened. They averaged 4.2 yards per play. That was less than the Jets, and that's just flat out pitiful. The defense has gotten better compared to the start of the year, but as the big Lamar guy on the show, I got to hold his feet to the fire here, and I got to be honest about what he's doing. 3 straight games under 200 yards passing, under 204 of his last 5. His rushing output over his last 4 games, 11, 10, 36, 14, 1 passing touchdown, one total touchdown, 2 interceptions over his last 3 games. And I get it. He faced the Vikings and the Browns in that mix. And those are tough defenses, but you are also a 2-time MVP. And we just saw you against the Jets, whose defense is terrible. 13 of 23, 153 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, 7 carries for 11 yards. I don't know what's up with Lamar right now, but all the problems the defense was having at the start of the year now looks like they've been passed along to Lamar, and he looks horrible. So it really hard for me, because I know that intellectually I should take the Ravens here because they are that much better than the Bengals, and the Bengals defense offers a get-right spot to basically any team they play. But man, if Joe Burrow, it sounds so crazy, but if Joe Burrow just does what Joe Flacco did, with it being a short week on the road, Ravens not going to be ultra prepared, Ja'Marr Chase coming back after essentially a bye week, I think there could be enough fire here for the Bengals to keep this really close.
Yeah, I think the Bengals could win the game outright potentially. Like, this is the one game out of the 3 that I'm not super confident in, just from a money line standpoint. But Lamar Jackson, I think when you look at least the defense is playing better. He doesn't have to be Superman all the time. This is a spot where he could be Superman against the Bengals. Historically, I feel like he's played well against the Bengals. That game last year was just wild between those 2 teams, the super high scoring one. And I think you just lean on Derrick Henry here. You give yourself a chance to win the game. But Joe Burrow is more than capable of winning this game outright, especially with Ja'Marr Chase coming back. Like, the boys are back together. They're going to be fired up. I think they're going to come out really hot, and you're going to get a good live betting opportunity on the Ravens.
Well, speaking of the boys, I will take Ja'Marr Chase for an anytime touchdown scorer. Now, I get it. He didn't score in 3 straight weeks, but it's his boy. Burrow's going to throw him the football. Ja'Marr won the Triple Crown with Burrow back under center. Early on in the year, he caught a touchdown in the game. Burrow got hurt, second game of the year, against the Jags. He caught a touchdown in that game. He had a stretch in the middle of the year where he caught a touchdown in 3 straight games. It's just an all-time spot where you're facing a division rival on the road, short week, tough defense. Like, you just lean on what you know. And Burrow knows Ja'Marr Chase.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ja'Marr Chase is going to score. That was one of my plays as well. I think Ja'Marr Chase is also going to go over his receiving yards in this spot. 92.5 is a very high number, but Joe Burrow is going to be able to get him the football. And just, again, this is a spot where the boys are back together. I think they're really going to be throwing. They're going to throw the ball a lot. The Bengals are going to come out and have some fun here. We know what Zach Taylor is going to be calling. Joe Burrow is going to be ready to play. The Ravens defense, while they have been better, they are still not the best in the league by any means. And Joe's been good throughout his career, right, against Baltimore. So this is a spot where I do like the Ravens, or do like Joe Burrow to throw for a lot of yards, and that's going to benefit Chase. Just because coming off that suspension, they're going to be force feeding him the ball early. Also, you could take the receptions too. Same thing there. Ja'Marr Chase, 7.5 receptions, minus 140. I think he hits that no problem. I don't think the Bengals are going to come out and try to run the ball in this game.
Final one for me. I'll take Lamar Jackson under 25.5 rushing yards. It's ridiculous to see Lamar's line that low, and especially to think that I would bet the under. But again, his last 4 games, 11, 10, 36, 14. I get it. He does go over in 3 of 4 before that. He has 48, 35, 13, and 70. But since he's come back from this injury, there hasn't been the open field success. Even before he got injured, he just wasn't running the ball much this year. He's played in 8 games. He's got 46 carries, running about 6 times per game. I remember hearing during a broadcast, he has a career low scramble percentage. And let's be honest, if the Bengals defense is going to continue to play bad like they have all year, Lamar's going to be throwing it. Guys are going to be open. He's not going to be running. So just from what I'm seeing this year, there doesn't seem to be the desire to run like there has been in years past. So go under.
I feel like that's a theme amongst the league too. Even Josh Allen. Like, where's the running for Josh Allen? Sometimes it comes out. Most times it doesn't. Like, they want these quarterbacks just sit in the pocket and not run at all. And maybe it's to protect him. I don't know. But, Lamar's specialty is running the ball. That's where he's so dangerous. If you take that element away, it's just not as good. The same thing with Josh Allen, right? These guys need to run. I feel like these teams are starting to try to protect these quarterbacks and tell them not to run just to protect their asset.
Well, I guess the devil's advocate to that is, look what's happening with the Commanders right now. Jaden Daniels was running, and he got injured 3 times already this year.
Lamar just has always done a great job of keeping himself healthy. Like, he always slides. He doesn't take contact. Like, he's the one quarterback that can run for 40, 50, 60 yards in a game and not even take a single hit.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's always been great at it.
So I got a little fun one here, Grant. Since it's Thanksgiving, we're going to have some fun here. First drive, Cincinnati Bengals. Offensive touchdown, plus 260. Why not? Why not? You don't think Joe Burrow is going to be fired up coming down the field? You don't think he's going to be dinking and dunking all down the field? Ravens are going to come out firing. Don't get me wrong here. I know it's going to be cold, but when you're getting the Ravens right now to score a touchdown on their first drive for plus 130, and you're getting the Bengals for plus 260, I'll take the Bengals all night long. And if you want to hedge it a little bit and go with a field goal attempt, plus 260, plus 300, add those together, you still get a really good payout if you take both of those bets. I think the Bengals are going to come out swinging here. Like, no doubt about it. And I do think they're going to make a statement early in this game. Starts with scoring on the first drive. Plus 260, plus 300. Take them both, actually. And you get yourself a nice little payout there.
Yeah, you just need him to get points. And I mean, you're getting the ball at the 35 to start off with, so you need 25 yards.
Yeah, I mean, unless Zach Taylor comes out and it's like, you know what? We're just going to take it easy to start. We're going to run the ball, use Joe Burrow in, not make him sit in the pocket. That doesn't feel like Zach Taylor to me, though.
No, not at all.
Zach
Taylor's throwing it first 3 downs.
First play, I feel like first play, Joe's taking a shot down the field to Jahmyr. Maybe second play. Maybe a run and then that. But they're going to throw the ball early in this game.
I agree, 100%. I like that one.
All right, there we go. Put 50 on both. Touchdown, field goal, make a little buck back. Offensive touchdown would get you 80 in that case if you did 50 on both, and then a field goal attempt would win you 100. So good deal.
50, high roller.
High roller. Well, I mean, I'm going to be up money on the day because I'm parlaying the the Lions and the Chiefs together to start the day. I'm going to do a little 2-legger, so I'll be up big by then, so I can put whatever the hell I want on that.
Well, guys, make sure that you do go to the comment section on this video and let us know what your plans are to be up big. Also, like we started off the show talking about favorite Thanksgiving food, controversial food, any of that cool stuff, make sure you do throw it in the comment section below and we will respond to everybody.
Yes. So, guys, that was Ride the Line, greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you back here on Friday for another episode.